A new Spider-Man movie swings into theaters this weekend. It's one of the most anticipated movies of the year, but does it live up to the hype? Here's Sean McBride, the movie guy, with his review.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
Poor Peter Parker. The kid's just trying to live his life, but it seems like the whole world is after him, and in Spider-Man No Way Home, that turns out to be multiple worlds, as villains from previous movies return to cause trouble anew. Fortunately, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is up to the task in a movie that is a lot of fun, with great action, endearing characters, and a surprising amount of depth. Spidey fans should love it.
In a long history of monster wrestling, there has never been a champion quite like Kentucky.
Over on Paramount Plus, Rumble is the animated family film about a little girl who trains a giant monster to be a wrestler. Now, this is a good-looking film that works because of its by-the-number sports underdog formula. It's not great, but young wrestling fans should enjoy this Rumble.
The second you tell your wife that you are dying, your opportunity to do this is gone.
Mahershala Ali stars as a dying man who clones himself, hoping to shield his family from the grief of his upcoming death. This is a thinking science fiction movie, and it's really well made. Rock-solid, near-future world building, and great acting, especially by Ali, in a dual leading role as the man and his clone looking for the best things in life.
Can you read minds?
Yes, I can, under the right circumstances.
Finally, Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley, the story of a carnival con man who gets in over his head when he tries to swindle a rich and powerful judge. Now, this was expected to be an Oscar film, and it certainly has the acting and technical merits to back this up, but I think the story is so cold and off-putting that most people won't connect with this movie. It's well made, but not one of del Toro's best.
If you displease the right people, the world closes in on you very, very fast.
And that's what's new this week at the movies. I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy.
All right, Sean, let's dig into all these
Let's go
movies.
for it.
A
Lots to
long
talk
list
about.
here.
Yeah.
Let's start with Rumble.
Rumble, for the kids, it's on Paramount Plus, and this is, if your kids like wrestling, if your kids like big animated stuff, if your kids like sports movies, and who doesn't like a sports movie? This is an underdog sports movie where a little girl is training a monster to fight. Mm-hmm. And look, it looks fine, it's fun, it's got all this stuff, but it's not a great movie, so we're not going to pretend like it's something super special. But it's on Paramount Plus, and if you got kids looking for something to do over the next couple of weeks, hey, stream this movie.
It was really pretty, and it looked like it would draw in a lot of kids' attention
exactly
to me.
so. Yeah.
A lot of animation there. So let's talk about Swan Song. It's a science fiction film, right?
Right, and this is quite a good movie, and this is one that's flying under the radar. It's Mahershala Ali. He's a guy who's dying of a terminal cancer. It's set in kind of the near future when we can clone ourselves. It's a brand new technology, and he decides to clone himself and send his clone in to live with his wife. She's pregnant. He doesn't want her to have to go through grief and everything like that. It's science fiction, but he's dealing with the ramifications of swapping out himself and not telling his wife. And it's kind of a trippy little sci-fi film. No action in this one, just drama. But fortunately, you have Mahershala Ali, who is a really good actor. So.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's talk about the most anticipated film on your list here, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, exactly. So Spider-Man, look, this is a movie. It's 2.5 hours, and that's my only minor complaint because I never once thought, oh, this is something that needed to be shortened here. Look, I
think everybody needs to see it for however long because it's Spider-Man.
It's wonderful stuff. Look, it's Tom Holland. I think he is the most accessible of all our Spider-Man movies. This is the number 8 in this new, we've had 8 Spider-Man movies here, and this one feels like it is actually going in different directions. Marvel in particular is exploring the multiverse. Well, Spider-Man is not. It is Marvel, but it's Sony Pictures, and so they're kind of doing their own things here. But I like that you have Doctor Strange coming in. I like the action. I love the characters and the family and the human emotions here. I think this is really good, and I like that they're trying to do something interesting with the villains, giving them some more depth. And that's not something you see in most superhero movies.
Well, we know it's in theaters, and it's going to probably be packed in those theaters
yes.
When this comes. But also, is this one of their better movies, do you think?
Like I say, it's not really a Marvel movie. It's a Sony Pictures movie. But yes, I think these are about as good as they get for those guys. And this is a rock-solid action, comic book movie. So I think fans will love it.
So that's one of the most anticipated of the year. What were your thoughts when you saw it?
Oh, I had a blast with it. I mean, I sat there grinning the whole time. It was, we've seen a lot of superhero movies, and sometimes they're a bit of a slog. And this one, I just enjoyed it thoroughly. So, matter of fact, I saw it without an audience.
Oh, wow.
And I think it will probably change when I'm surrounded by people who are clapping and cheering. So I'm planning on going back and seeing it again this weekend.
You guys hear that? Double the pleasure. All right, let's get over to Nightmare Alley.
This is Guillermo del Toro. When we looked at this one, we said, oh, this is the guy who did The Shape of Water. This is the guy who has really Academy credentials. And look, this thing looks amazing. It's a remake of a 1946 movie. It's a film noir thing. Everything is good. The acting is great. The production design is amazing. Cinematography, all those technical merits things. But I hated this movie.
Wow, all of that and you hate it?
I'm sitting there,
I didn't expect that.
my mind is going, this is a really well-made film.
Okay.
And I was left so cold. This guy's, the characters are venal. They're not learning anything. They're not remorseful for their action. They're just trying to swindle people, and they're just violent and horrible people. And since they didn't have any remorse, I didn't care what happened to them. And so that's...
You didn't care what happened to them.
Exactly. And you sort of have to have that. I like film noir movies because it's kind of fun to see people dabbling in a bad side, but morality is always righted at the end, and this one, it just seems like whatever happens. I think, like I said, I think it's a really well-made movie, and I may be a little bit out there. I think most people like it a lot more than I did, but I just couldn't care less about this movie.
And what kind of crowd do you think will come see that movie?
I suspect it won't do much, actually. I'm not sure that the people that are really in it for Guillermo del Toro are at the theater yet. So, but it'll do fine, I guess. But it's not going to be Spider-Man.
I know. So is there anything else to look forward to coming up soon?
We have, I think it's 8 or 9 movies coming out next week. And so you'll have movies coming out on the 22nd. You'll have them on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to split it up, and I'll give you, half on Wednesday and half on Friday. So there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Big stuff. Matrix is coming out. We've got American Underdog coming out. We got A Journal for Joy. I mean, big stuff. The Kingsman, Sing 2. There's lots of things. Something for everybody. It's the holidays. That's what they do. They want to make sure that as soon as you're done wrapping presents and you're getting on everyone's nerves, let's go to the movies, folks. And so spend your Christmas at the movies.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. Thanks, Sean.